Okay, I'm gonna be real quick.
You stand right here in front of us. Thank you, and that way they'll see you better.
Okay, hello everybody online, World Wide Web. This is a picture, if you can see it, from Governor Warfield Parkway, dropping my child off to school. As you can see, there's no sidewalks whatsoever. This is a main artery in Columbia. You have Banneker 7 Fire Department, you have the police department, and this is the route to Howard County General Hospital, which everyone who knows that. God forbid if someone needs to get to the hospital. You have children walking on grass. One slip, you're up on the curb. God forbid. I pray for our children every day. Bring our buses back to our children. Period, quotation mark, put whatever you want behind it. To the bus drivers and the companies, I want to thank you as a parent who's had children in the school system for the past 25 years. Excellent job. Always on time. Always have our children's back. Always get them home. If they act up, you say something. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. And we are very sorry. We had no knowledge. We had children at the bus stop on the first day of school, didn't even know they wasn't getting the bus. No one notified us parents. How I found out? Word of mouth. Then I started asking parents. And I met this gentleman right here. So I just wanted to get up and say, thank you to the bus drivers and the companies. We need you, we need you, we need you. And Howard County Public School System, y'all need to get it together. I don't know who needs to go, I don't know what needs to be done. Let's get it done. We can fix this. Thank you.
I wanted to ask,
Were there any other bus contractors who wanted to speak? I know we were talking to the local bus contractors. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Then I think there's someone who hasn't spoken yet. If we could, is there something related to
it was a bus contractor
Oh,
question?
sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if you guys had empty buses the first week of school, like the other contractor I interviewed. Like buses that would have been available to help when Zoom failed. So one of the ladies that I interviewed said that she had buses available and they were sitting empty.
We didn't have any empty buses
Okay.
first day of school.
And then the other thing that I wanted to ask was, over the summer, did they seem to have a lot of deadhead mileage from your lot? Like, did you experience the same thing as that lady that she was saying that during the summer, they seemed to be driving the furthest routes and they were promised mileage and then were not paid it. And then during the school year, they had the shortest mileage. And
I can answer that question. We were negotiating during the summer times. We started doing the summer school routes without having a determined number we were getting paid. But they did come back and pay us for the dead mileage. So they
Okay.
did
Okay. Was it the furthest and then the shortest? Did you find?
Not for my company. My
Okay.
company was normal.
Okay.
So I can't say it's my company.
And then who do you feel, if individuals that were responsible for this were removed, do you think that you guys would consider coming back and supporting us if we were able to remove Zoom?
We will, but it's going to take time to rehire those drivers that we lost.
Got it.
Maybe some may come from Zoom because they did take.
But you agree that if we redistributed the money that Zoom got to all the local companies, that would help, correct?
Most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, most definitely will help.
Okay.
And we don't need GPS because all my local drivers know the area.
I totally get it. I have contacted all of you. My name's Carolyn Barth. If you guys could return my phone call, because we'd like to interview all of you for our investigation. We can't help you if we don't have it on record because we're gathering all this information. If you don't mind meeting with me afterwards, I'd love to get a statement from everybody that's willing. Thank you.
All right. It looks like there's some other folks who haven't spoken yet. You haven't spoken yet, I don't.
Yeah, actually, I was just leaving to go pick my kids up from their night school, and I ran into a parent of one of my special needs kids that I had had for years. His name is Manny. He is legally blind. He cannot see. I was pushed out of that school because the time change did not meet up with my other special needs school. So Manny got switched to the Zoom bus. Grandma wants to tell you guys her experience, legally blind, wanting him to walk to the front of an apartment project to catch a bus.
Hello, you know I love you. This is like, we like family. When the bus companies come and pick up our children, they're family. We put our kids on this bus. My grandson is illegally year 1 year blind and deals with mental health. So when he found out Miss Tracy wasn't his bus driver, that was like, I'm not going to school no more. And he should have felt like that because we wound up going from our townhouse to apartments to get on the bus, which was unfair because he should be having a bus at the front door. I'm willing to walk to the corner to put him on the bus. And I had to direct, not just the bus driver that had us go to the apartment, we had to direct other bus drivers because they wasn't from here. They didn't even know who they was picking up. I had a grandson that came home yesterday, which is Manny's brother, was on the Zoom bus. He took him to the wrong school and told me, you just gotta wait till they get there. What's sad about it, y'all doing us an injustice, they're doing the bus drivers injustice, and our kids love the bus drivers. Some of our kids really do be happy to get on that bus with Miss Tracy. And I'm talking specifically for Manny because of how he feels. He's really not good because he knows he's blind now legally, and it's been a lot on him. So change is not really good for him right now. That makes it depression more. So what's sad about it is, and I don't know who's running this company, Zoom, but they got to go. There's no room for them. We got children walking on grass and streets. I, as well, got children in Wild Lake. There's no sidewalks. I have a granddaughter that has anxiety. And she's really scared to she says, it might snow and it rain, what we gonna do? We shouldn't have to have our children feel like we gotta make decisions and when the bus, and they get paid to go to school. Let's just think about that. We should have a right to say we're our children and who rides our children. When you change that pattern, you changing everybody's pattern. And I mean, this first year was horrible and it's still. The kids are going crazy. So many kids went home that first day because they couldn't get on the bus. Then no bus show up. Then they were late. And they're marking our kids absent. Or if they're not absent, like I heard exactly what you said, I got that too. They're absent and they're in school. It's making poor decisions. Howard County, please get it together. The schools, y'all get it together. Whoever got to sit down and talk about it, Zoom got to go. Zoom don't know what they doing. They brought the most worst system into a Howard County, and then you did not even give us a chance to say how or what. That's the scary part about it. This is kids I deal with, all my grandchildren have disabilities. They have a right to a bus. And it's not fair, it's doing us an injustice to keep us stuck in a company that doesn't serve us any justice. And I love all y'all bus drivers, because I never had a problem. My grandchildren got to school every day. And now I'm looking at, let me see how long it's going to take. We got to get it together. And Miss Tracy, I love you. I'm going to tell Manny I see you.
So my understanding is that if you notice that your child is being marked absent or tardy and it's because of buses, it should all be excused. And so when you've called the schools, that's not gone through. Okay, so that Jen Mallow, I think you can, is taking notes for us from the Board of Education. I think they're two different problems, right? So there's the problem of you don't want your child to be marked late or tardy and later be penalized. And then there's the second problem, which even if you've been pardoned, right, you're still missing school time and you're still going to have to take an exam when exam time comes. We are in the 4th week of school, right? And what was talked about at yesterday's transportation meeting, Jen Mallow, you were concerned about that. Other board members were very concerned about it too, is that even tomorrow with the school with the school start time chains, it is not expected to solve the problem completely. It is expected perhaps to make things a little bit better for some kids. So we don't have a long-term solution yet, and we need to find a way to get those kids to school on time. I don't think have we heard from you yet? I'd like to get everyone.
She has an IEP. I'm just wondering about tomorrow. She has the van that comes and picks her up. But most of the time the van comes in late. It doesn't show up at all. Or I have to go and take her to school. Or she comes home at 4:30 instead of at 3:45. The school is right around the corner. I can go pick her up. But they said, no, the van is coming. And today the van came at 4:30 today. Almost 5 o'clock. So tomorrow, the time she's going to be picked up, tomorrow's going to be later at 9:25. And then she won't be getting home until 4:30, probably 5 o'clock. What are they going to do about that? Because I know they're changing it tomorrow, but then that becomes an issue with pickup and drop off. I just wanted to know, yeah. Especially my daughter who has, she's autistic.
Yeah, so I think our get to those questions that you're answering that are very real, that families are really struggling with kids coming late. Drew.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the bus contractors a question, if you guys are still. So, as I said earlier, I live in Elk Ridge. Our bus service to Guilford Park High School is chronically late. It's Tip Top, the provider, and I don't think this is a bus contractor issue. Would any of you guys be from Tip Top?
We used to service that area, but we don't service.
Okay. Well, so my question is do you guys feel that you're getting routes that can be driven in the time allotted? And what do you do when that happens?
Well, we're out in the western part of the county now. They shuffle us out in the western part, so we're fine out there, but our buses are not.
Okay, so you haven't experienced that. Because after listening to.
And keep something in mind, my drivers did not know the western county at all.
Yeah.
But they went out, they prepared themselves, and they ran it like.
Well,
the back of their
so for context here, many of the parents say, this is when the bus comes to get to school by 8 o'clock, and as a resident, that's not realistic. And Tip Top's been providing service in our area forever. And it seems, from listening to what was said here tonight, it makes me wonder if they're being set up to fail.
Tip Top?
Yeah.
I think the whole three-tier system was a failure. So anybody that's probably associated in any way with that is going to fail at it because
Yeah,
it just
okay.
can't make the times.
Yeah, then I noticed that in the adjusted times
Yeah.
tomorrow, they've scooted up school time, started by 10 minutes for the first tier, but they scooted pickup time up by 20 minutes. Which tells me the routes weren't
It
realistic.
seems to me, we used to pick kids up last year at 7:10, drop them off at high school. Now this year, we're dropping them off 7:30-ish.
Around 7:30, it just seems like that was a lot of money for 20 minutes of sleep. And they keep modifying it, it's almost like they're just gonna go back to where they were, and they're gonna spend all this money. Look, and I understand the people that are here from the Board of Education. I truly believed you guys were buffaloed. You were told a bunch of stuff that just was not. I didn't watch every meeting, but the meetings that I watched, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the people that are presenting all this, and yeah, we got this, it's all good. And my family's been in the transportation business since the early 70s, and we're just like, it's just not gonna work. And for them to stand up there and say that it was all good, Yeah, I think they owe you an apology.
I have a question for the contractor. So I believe the school system, thank you.
So I believe the school system designed the routes for you guys, right? So do they specify at what time you need to stop at what stop?
Yes.
Okay, and they specify all the routes and schedule stuff like that.
They
right?
actually give us turn-by-turn directions, which usually are not very good, but
So in the contract, do they specify penalties if you cannot fulfill those routes on time?
yes. Yes,
Okay.
we do have liquidated damages, just like this new RFP that Zoom and Tip Top are running under has a lot of liquidated damages. Enough liquidated damages that Zoom probably shouldn't have their contracts right now. If you look at it hard, they have the options of doing, Howard County has the option of doing, they have the term for convenience.
It's good to know
You know?
because we don't know whether we can get them out legally, and
You're not gonna
written
get them
in
out this
in the
year.
contract.
It's not gonna happen this year, I can tell you that right now, because we don't have enough. We don't have enough buses. I mean, we couldn't even get the buses in time. It almost takes, 6 months now to get a bus, if not longer, so, yeah, you guys are in a little bit of a pickle.
Okay. So I have another question. So it seems that the school system is paying more to Zoom per route, but the response from superintendent and some of the board members are you cannot compare apples with oranges, and it's a whole package, including special ed, the sports.
That is
part.
true, because we don't know what they're getting paid for the regular ed. We don't know what they're getting paid for the special needs. We don't know how many special needs they're running. So Howard County is just taking the bulk of all their runs and just getting an average, and that average is $117,000. But that's still, even for a special needs bus, we never gotten anywhere near 100. I mean, if we got $90,000 on special needs buses, we're like, hip hip hooray, that was great money for us. Yeah, with a midday, so for $117,000, oh, I would love to have that. Yeah, any contractor sitting in this room probably would have loved to have that.
And I believe in one of the superintendent documents, he mentioned about summer school, things like that. I don't quite understand how the summer school routes compare with how they put together the summer school contract with the.
Well, Zoom's contract started July 1st. They weren't ready for summer school, so guess who did summer school July 1st? We did. Their contract was supposed to start July 1st, 2023. They weren't ready. That should have been a red flag, right?
Never get a straight answer for different prices and all those vague responses that I cannot understand. So I'm just trying to clarify that with you guys, or anybody in the room can answer this question.
I believe the invoice, I think, again, you have to confirm this, but I believe that there's a separate invoicing for any extra work. So when they bid for their AM and their PM runs. If they do midday work, they get extra for that, just as we would. And if you do summer school, you get paid extra for that, and then you have your sports. Yeah, because that number of the average of 117, like you said, that takes the special education buses and the regular buses, and that's just an average. But as Mitch stated, there's the special ed price, and then there's the regular ed, and then there's the other activities that's separate from that, and that's a price. But again, I'm not privy to those contracts, so I can't speak accurately for that.
So we're almost at time. Is there sorry, was there
I had a question for Ms. Mallow, or anyone else from the board. Do you have the authority, I know, I don't think you have independent counsel, or maybe you do and I'm wrong, but Do you have the authority to terminate the contract?
Do you have the authority to terminate the contract with Zoom for breach or failure to perform?
Are you asking, are there clauses within the contract for termination?
No, I'm asking, I guess the contract is the parties in that contract, I believe, are the HCPSS and Zoom. Is that correct? Or is it the county?
The parties to the contract would be the Board of Education and Zoom.
So the Board of Education.
So the Board of Education is the legal entity.
And so that legal entity has the authority to terminate this contract? Is that correct?
That is my understanding of who has the legal authority, but I am not a lawyer. And so I am not giving legal advice here.
Sure.
Do you have your own independent counsel? Does the school board have their own? Because that's come up in community conversations.
Yes.
I'd love
The school board, we contract for outside counsel.
Who is the school board's outside counsel?
It depends on the subject of the legal work. The primary outside counsel of the school board is Carney Callahan, which specializes primarily in education law. There are different firms that do different work depending on the nature of the legal business.
Is it Arnie?
I'm sorry?
Is it Arnie? A-R-N-I?
No, Carney, C-A-R-N-E-Y, Callahan, K-E-L-E-H-A-N.